That's so much fun being a woman. Imagine what it would feel like for somebody to set fire to your nipples. All kind of goes downhill from there. Anyone who would like come close to me, I was just like, oh my god. Welcome back to my channel. I have conveniently coordinated my drink with my outfit today, and this is my current favourite smoothie. The recipe is on my Instagram if you want to check it out. Blooms Eats. I haven't really done a sit down kind of chat video like this, but this is a topic that I feel, you know, passionate about, and I've had a lot of questions about, so I thought I'd kind of sit down, hatch it all out. And I remember when I was coming off the pill, I would literally watch loads of videos like this on YouTube. So if I can maybe help other people, or like, you know, give you a kind of heads up, then that is my job done. So obviously this video is going to be all about coming off the pill and my experience with hormone-free birth control. So just to start off, to let you know why I came off the pill. So I'd been on the pill for 14 years. I wanted to come off it for ages. I've been on it for 14 years. I went on it when I was like young, and I've had my first boyfriend, and my mum was like, you need to go on the pill. And you kind of don't get educated about it. Like, you don't really know what it is. You just kind of know that it stops you getting pregnant. So you're like, okay. So I'd been on it for 14 years and decided to come off it. I'm not trying for a baby. When I put a question box on my Instagram, a couple of people were kind of talking about their experience with conceiving. I was like, I'm definitely not trying to conceive. So I've been off the pill now for 7 months. So I thought this was kind of good amount of time, kind of long enough that I've kind of seen the kind of side effects, but not too long that I can't remember what was when I was on the pill and what wasn't, if that makes sense. So without further ado, I'm going to dive straight into the kind of main topics that people wanted to know about, and that was mainly things like period irregularities, period pains, weight loss, weight gain, skin, mood, side effects, all that sort of stuff, and basically what I'm using for contraception. I didn't want to do it like a Q&A, but I had like lots of questions, so I'm not going to like answer each question, but I'm going to kind of use the main topics that people asked, which was mainly about like periods and weight gain and stuff like that, and just kind of tell you my experience. So period irregularities to start with. So I came off the pill in December. Straight away I got my period like when it would have been due when I was on the pill, so I was like, what a legend. That wasn't quite the case. So my period came straight away in December when it should have, but then the next month I had like a something like a 57-day cycle. I just checked and it was about 50 days. So obviously I was like, is it going to come back? And I'd heard a lot of people who didn't get a period for, you know, 6 months. So I was a bit worried, but I was tracking on my app every day and whatever. So that was definitely the longest period of time. Lol. That was definitely the kind of like longest cycle I had, so it was around like near to 50 days. And since then it's not completely regular. Like I've had one 28-day cycle, which was last month, and I thought, oh, maybe it's all balanced out again, but then this month I've had another long cycle. So my period kind of regularity hasn't balanced out yet. You know, you just have to give it a chance, and everybody is different. So it's fine because it still kind of predicts when I'm gonna have my period on my app, based on, because it's all based on your basal body temperature. It's still a bit annoying because you can't really plan in advance like when you've got your period, especially, you know, when you're going on holiday or something, you can kind of check. So that's fine, that I'm sure that will come. The second thing I got asked a lot about was period pains. So when I was I remember before I was on the pill, obviously I was really young, but I used to get really intense period pains. Like I remember the kind of tops of my thighs would like ache so much, and they were really, really bad. And to start with, they weren't too bad, but the last 3 periods I've had, like say March, April, May, I've had one day where it's been quite intense, but only one day, and it's either the first day of the period obviously or the day before. It's been like quite intense cramps where I'm like literally sitting with a hot water bottle, but apart from that it's been fine. So they definitely have been worse than when I was on the pill, but it's just one day. And somebody actually did write in the thing that they tried to come off the pill but the period pains were so bad, and you just gotta kind of listen to your body, like either power through, like let it kind of balance out, or if you want to like take painkillers or, you know, whatever. But for me it's only been kind of one day of like intense cramps where I'm just like, oh my god, help me, but then the rest of the time it's actually okay. And my periods have only been about 4 days each time. so that's fine. One of the main side effects that I will talk about is the fire nipples. Imagine what it would feel like for somebody to set fire to your nipples. That was the worst side effect I had, 100%. Oh my god, it was like anyone who would like come close to me, I was just like, oh my god, stay away, because I just, even like my top grazing my nipples, or like being in the shower where the water would touch my nipples was like excruciating, like balls of fire. It was pretty intense. That has luckily, that has subsided now, so I'm pretty pleased about that, and I haven't had that since probably like 3 months into it, so I'd say maybe like December, January, February, March, like that was like not all the time, but there would be like phases where they were just erupting like a volcano, like nipple eruption. Just not a fun time, but I feel like we've got past that stage, and I'm really pleased to be at the other side of it. Cheers to that. On the same topic of breasts, because I want to be very real, open and honest here, because that is the whole reason why you are watching this video. I had 3 bouts of a really excruciating like breast pain. I don't want to, I feel like this all sounds, you know, all doom and gloom, but we'll get to more positives later, I promise. One night I was pretty much awake all night because I had shooting pains in one of my breasts, and I googled it and I thought it was going to tell me that I was dying, but it literally told me that it was like your hormones, and I can't even remember exactly what it said, but it's like the milk ducts, like it was all to do with hormones. I was like, okay, well I've just come off the pill, so that's probably why. But that was probably the worst thing that's happened. Like there was one night and I logged all my app and I was literally awake all night with like this stabbing pain, like I couldn't even roll over, so that was pretty intense. And I had a couple more like shooting pain bouts, but not as long as that one time. But I don't know whether that was just kind of unique to me. I haven't really like seen much of other people talk about it, but that was one of the negative side effects. I want to kind of explain like why your energy fluctuates throughout the month. So I don't know how much you know about the menstrual cycle, but I am obsessed with it. Say you are a female with a 28-day cycle, you will have 2 weeks in your follicular phase and 2 weeks in your luteal phase. So on your first day of menstruation, is that how you say it? On your first day of menstruating? On the first day that you menstruate, what is the word? On the first day of your period, that is the first day of your follicular phase. So that is the first day of you when you bleed, and then you stay in the follicular phase until you ovulate, usually on day 14, so 2 weeks. In your follicular phase, you have more energy, your body temperature is lower, you have more energy, you burn less calories at rest, but you just tend to have more energy, and your appetite will be regular, and it's just basically you living your best life until you ovulate, when it all kind of goes downhill from there. And that's when you enter your luteal phase. You ovulate on day 14, and that's when your kind of temperature kind of incrementally increases until you reach a peak of ovulation, and then you stay at a kind of higher body temperature for the next 14 days, which is your luteal phase. I haven't really explained, I was going to explain after, but I take my temperature every morning because I use something called natural cycles, which tells you where you are in your cycle, when you're fertile, when you're not, when you're ovulating, when you're coming on your period, etc. So you ovulate on day 14 when your temperature rises, and then your temperature stays high for the next 14 days, and you have less energy. Your body temperature is higher, you'll kind of burn more calories at rest, but your appetite will be higher typically, and mine definitely is. From my follicular phase to my luteal phase, I literally have 2 different appetites. Like, it's literally crazy. Like when you're on the pill, it's hard to kind of get that full differentiation between the follicular and the luteal phase. And the pill it contains the luteinizing hormone, which basically makes your body think that it's ovulated, and that's why you can't get pregnant. So that's literally what the pill does. So you don't kind of experience, I don't think you experience that kind of polar opposite phase in your menstrual cycle. So in terms of energy, I definitely notice it 100%. So in my follicular phase, I have lots of energy, my appetite's really regular, I feel good, and then after ovulation in the luteal phase, my appetite is a lot bigger, I'm a lot more lazy, when you kind of track it and keep on top of it, then it's good because you're more aware. A lot of people are worried about gaining weight when they're on the pill, and the reason that you might gain weight when you're on the pill is because, as I said, the pill contains the luteinizing hormone, so your body temperature is probably slightly higher, which means that your appetite will increase, and obviously if your appetite increases, you'll eat more. I just want to make it completely clear that the pill cannot make you gain weight. The only thing that can make you gain weight is a calorie surplus. So obviously hormones do play a part in that, and if you have, say, low thyroid, or just using that as an example, then you will have a lower basal metabolic rate, which means that you burn less calories at rest, which means that it's easier for you to overeat because your BMR is lower. So if that doesn't make sense, then say for example my BMR, so my basal metabolic rate, is around 1400 calories. And when you add on your NEAT, which is your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, and your daily exercise and the thermic effective feeding, so all these sorts of things, then my daily total daily energy expenditure will be, say, 2200. Whereas if you've got a low thyroid or something, for example, then maybe your BMR is only 1000, and then maybe your total daily energy expenditure is 1600, and therefore it's easier for you to be in a calorie surplus. Hope that makes sense. Just wanted to kind of make that clear. So if you fear gaining weight from going on the pill cannot make you gain weight, but it can increase your appetite, and that's because your body temperature is higher, which means you're using more energy or burning more calories at rest, therefore hungrier. So you just have to, it's a bit of trial and error, but the only way that you will gain weight is if you eat more than your body is expending. I haven't, lost or gained weight since coming off the pill, but I think that's because I'm aware of this, and I'm aware of my kind of BMR and my total daily energy expenditure, so I'm already aware how many calories I need to lose weight, maintain weight and gain weight, and I've just kind of stuck to the same sort of thing. But if you are worried about it, just remember what I said. A lot of people asked about my skin, and that is quite a sensitive topic because basically I used to have really severe chin acne, and I pretty much had it my whole life until, well, not my whole life, like when I was a baby I obviously didn't come out of the womb with chin acne, but pretty much since I can remember being a teenager to the last year and a half, I had really bad chin acne, and then even when I wouldn't wear makeup it would look like I had chin acne because there's so much acne scarring. And it wasn't until lockdown that my skin cleared up, and I'm just putting it down to purely the fact that I wasn't wearing any makeup pretty much at all. I really leveled up my skincare routine because morning and night I was making an effort to take off my makeup, which obviously helps. My diet was probably a bit cleaner because I was having a lot less kind of foods on the go and processed foods. My stress levels were lower because I wasn't working, I was on furlough. I was going for daily walks and getting the fresh air. I was around less germs, obviously being in lockdown. I think the not wearing makeup and my skincare routine is what helped clear the scarring, but in terms of the spots actually not coming back, I think it was a combination of all of those things. So when I decided to come off the pill, that was obviously 9 months into lockdown, or 9 months since the first lockdown. I was like, oh my god, what if it all comes back? And it's actually been okay. It's been fine. The last few weeks I had a couple on my chin, like not many, like 2 here, and I've got a little one there, but I'm just trying not to worry about it because that was definitely one of my main concerns. And there's something wrong with having spots, and it's natural, and it's always to do with, well, it's pretty much always to do with your hormones or your gut health. But I just was so pleased when I could go out makeup free and not feel self-conscious that the thought of them coming back does kind of terrify me a little bit. Like I just feel so much more confident in my own skin now since the kind of scarring has cleared up, and that's just personal to me. Other positives is that I just feel like I just know myself so much better. I think it's a combination of obviously tracking everything in my cycle to the fact that my body is obviously, I've felt it try and regulate the hormones, even with the pains in my breast or like my appetite and my energy levels and my temperature changing. I just feel like this is actually me. If I do want to have kids in the future, like I want to know that like I'm actually ovulating today because my app has told me for the last X amount of years and whatever. So yeah, I just feel like a weight has been lifted in a weird way, and I can't really explain it, but if you've come off the pill or whatever, I think you might understand what I mean. I just feel a lot more myself. I definitely get mood swings and PMS, which I track on my app. So it'll tell me when PMS is due, because the day before my period or a couple of days before my period I just feel like a little bit sensitive or a bit low, and it will usually predict it for me. So on those days where I'm feeling those things, I'm like, well, I know exactly why, but it doesn't mean that I don't just want to sit there with a big bag of like Cadbury buttons and watch High School Musical and cry. Oh, it's so much fun being a woman. But yes, I definitely do notice those pre-menstrual mood swings, but I think because I'm aware of what it is and it hasn't just come out of nowhere. Like, I think if you don't track your cycle, you're just probably one day feeling emotional and horrendous, or feeling starving, and or you've got no motivation, whatever it is, you just kind of beat yourself up about it. You're like, why can't I snap myself into gear? And actually there's like a reason for all of the ways that you're feeling, and it's great to just like keep on top of it. So that's kind of my experience with coming off the pill so far. I'm just going to quickly talk about what I use for contraception now. I basically use Natural Cycles, which is an app to track your cycle, and then you take your temperature every morning when you wake up and log it into the app, and then it basically kind of comes up with an algorithm. It takes a few months to kind of get into the swing of it, because it needs as much data as possible. It uses the temperatures to tell you where you are in your cycle, when you're fertile, when you're not. The app is actually, I think it's 98% effective with perfect use, and I mean, I use it perfectly, and I'm not looking to have children anytime soon. So I'm just going to run through the app that I use. So I'll just screen record here. So if you see the month is laid out like this, let me just go to April for example. So if you can see that the temperature will incrementally increase when you ovulate. So it's 0, 0, and then it's 18, then it's 38, and then it's 30 again. So it confirms ovulation where the temperature has increased, and then it kind of levels out, and then your temperature stays high then kind of during your luteal phase. So starving, great, love that for us. But I've obviously used this started using it in December, and the more you kind of use it, the more green days that you have, and it just kind of shows everything, and I'll just put little notes in. So that's kind of how it works. It just like has all the data like that. Then it obviously will like predict when your period's coming, so it's predicting that my period will come in like 2 weeks time. So, and it also predicts when you'll have PMS. So that's Natural Cycles. I'm pretty good, like I'll literally remember to take my temperature every single morning, and even when I was on the pill I never forgot to take it. Even now, sometimes in the night time I have these thoughts like, oh my god, I haven't taken my pill, which is crazy because I've been off it for 7 months. Yeah, every single morning it's just the first thing I do when I wake up is I take my temperature, and I put my temperature into the app, and I've just been using it to a T, and I love it. And obviously, like I said, this isn't sponsored at all, and I'm not saying you should use anything in particular. Like, you should use whatever works best for your body, whatever you feel comfortable with. But a lot of people have asked me, and I just wanted to explain what I do. I'm just going to quickly double check that there wasn't any more questions before I wrap this up. So I'm just going to like quick speed fire the ones that I've had. So do you monitor your cycle to know when you're ovulating? So yes. Do you notice it affected your weight? So I've cleared that one up. Did your skin flare? I've cleared that one up. Do you use any contraception now? So like I said, I use this. Does it affect your metabolism? So no. How long does it take for your periods to become regular? They're still not completely regular, so can't really answer that one yet. That's fine. Do you feel better in yourself? Yes. And when it says, someone said, what was the biggest difference you saw in yourself mentally? And I haven't really noticed much different, apart from the fact that I know why I feel certain ways sometimes. So if I am having like a bad day, like it's usually correlated with like PMS or hormones in some way. It just gives you a much clearer head, because the worst thing is when you feel like shit and you don't know why. So I think that's probably the main thing. It says, were you on the pill for heavy period or purely contraception? I was on it purely for contraception. Someone said, what benefits do you see? And to be honest, like I wasn't that bad like on the pill. I just feel a lot better in myself, like knowing that I'm in my kind of natural hormones and everything's kind of like working as it should be. Like I want to know if I can, you know, have kids in the future and all that sort of stuff. Like obviously we don't really know until, you never really know until you try, but I just feel like a complete weight's been lifted and a bit of a sense of kind of freedom. So I think I pretty much answered every question that I got asked in my kind of earlier part of the video. So I really hope that that made sense and it did clear up any questions or concerns you might have. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it and I hope that it was somewhat informative. If you do have any questions about coming off the pill or anything like that, then just drop them in the comments and I will get back to you 100%. And I really hope you're enjoying my regular uploads. So I upload every Wednesday and Sunday, and I'd love it if you would subscribe because I'm a new tuber. I need all the help I can get. So give this video a like because that would be great, and if you could subscribe then we can be best friends forever. Lots of fun videos to come. Really hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching if you made it this far, and I'll see you in my next one.